watching Umami.
Hey everyone. What's going on, everyone? Today's gonna be pretty simple. I'm just gonna do a simple animation. Working on the finale still, and this doesn't really have any spoilers in it, so I figured I could live stream it. It's a hand that is grabbing, so and that's my own hand. I'm using it as a reference video. I just took the video just a second ago. Okay, I'm just getting my canvas set up here. Okay. All right. Yeah, so trying to get one shot done a day. Sometimes it's turning into 3 days per shot. Sometimes it's turning into 4 days per shot because this episode has like crazy animation in it, so I don't usually do this amount of like animation for those who have been following earlier. Okay, that's my really crappy reference video, but it's just so I can get the proportions of a hand. All right. Yeah, so I woke up this morning and I had a really strange encounter in my own bathroom. So I just moved into this new apartment like a couple weeks ago, and we're on like the 3rd floor of the apartment, and we don't have any blinds or anything in the bathroom window. It's not frosted glass, it's just, and the reason why is because it's a private balcony basically. And there's no windows. You can't see into other people's apartments. They can't see into the bathroom. You really can't unless someone climbs the fire escape at 7:45 in the morning and looks into your bathroom while you're sitting on the toilet. And I was like, when I moved into this place, I was like, okay, I don't have to put frosted glass on this window. There's never going to be anyone here standing outside my balcony looking into me poop. Well, 7:45 a.m. I'm sitting in there, and I hear like this stomping sound. So I go and I look over in. Well, I'm just sitting there on the toilet basically, right? And then all of a sudden there's this dude, this guy just pops into the fucking window and he looks at me and he's like, "Oh, sorry." Right? And then he just like backs away from the window. And no one's supposed to be up there. It's like, it's our balcony for our apartment. It's like a private thing, right? So I'm telling them I'm telling them the story.
The event of the day.
Yeah, so anyway, so I'm sitting there and he's like he didn't like say sorry and then like leave immediately. He just like stood there by the window. And so I like get off the toilet and I pull my boxers up or whatever, right? And I open the window and I'm looking at him like, do you live here? Because, I didn't want to get immediately mad at him because, I could be like my downstairs neighbor's kid or something, some person that lives no, and the guy's like, no, I don't live here, man. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and then he's like, I'm like, I'm just taking a photo, like, I'm like on your balcony at 7 in the morning where you can look into your bathroom, right? And I'm like, I basically I just had to shout at the guy. I just told him to get the fuck off the balcony. That was just a really weird thing to happen to me this morning. And then that's about it, really. I mean, I don't really have any weird encounters with like apartments. That's not true, actually. I used to live in this other apartment downtown Montreal, and there was this one time that some guy was going around sticking his hand into like the mail slot, like the mail slot for your apartment. Carolina was in the kitchen cooking something, or I forget, and she's like, I don't know if she screamed, but she said, Justin, hey Justin, there's like some guy sticking his hand through the mail slot. And so that was another weird encounter where I had to basically chase the guy out of the building. I was also naked at the time, so there's both times I was like naked. So I had boxers on, but anyway. I'll just read some of these comments here. Death by astonishment. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Hey, Jack D. Thank you, man. I'm a ghost hunter. I've seen some shit. Ghost yet. You're a ghost hunter, eh? What kind of how do you do that stuff? What do you do for that? It sounds interesting. I'm not one of those people that doesn't like believe in ghosts. Like, I don't like dismiss it. I just feel like there's too much about the universe we don't really know yet. So why be like ghosts are not real or whatever, But there could be like, maybe ghosts are something else entirely. Like they're kind of like time delayed abstractions or something that the universe is playing back or something like that. Who knows what they are really. I'm out here expecting the encounter to be paranormal, and it's just the guy watching poop. Can't wait for the new episode. Makes my days. Hey, Legendary Z. Well, thank you for that. It's going to be worth it. Trust me. It's going to be great. I've got someone helping me do some 3D stuff for it. I'm not overdoing the 3D this time. I mean, there is some 3D, but I don't want it to look 3D. So even a lot of the 3D stuff, I've been tracing over like manually just to make it look like it's hand-drawn. Because I'm starting to realize with this 3D stuff, like it's super expensive for one. Just if you need to hire someone to help, I mean, it's expensive to hire people anyway, but especially 3D, it's a very specialized skill, and it's expensive. So 4 seconds of animation that I needed to hire someone to do something for, it was a lot basically. But I'm figuring out the best way to incorporate 3D into my work so that it doesn't look so 3D. It's minimal, but if I were just to rely on hand-drawn stuff, I wouldn't be able to do some of these shots that I have planned. So Do you play Phasmophobia? I heard of that name, but I haven't played the game. Marcus McGoldrick, thank you for the comment there. The filter on the webcam is really cool. Yeah, man, that's kind of like this doubling effect I got. Just experimenting. Let's see, what is this person saying? It's okay, there was a guy walking inside our garage to our back door handling out voting pamphlets, and then my wife saw him and said, there's a person. Umami, what is the name of the art style consisting of shapes and black-white static? Berlin? John H., I believe it's called Memphis. It's like the design style is by the Memphis group, which I can't remember exactly. I think it might be Italian. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong, but it came out of the 80s and basically influenced like a lot of the late 80s, early 90s like animation and not just that, but like furniture design and clothing and the whole, really a lot of it feels like, you know, the early 90s. So were you inspired by Blade Runner? I was inspired by movies that were inspired by Blade Runner, or I was inspired by, I guess you could say Blade Runner was an inspiration for some parts, for sure. But for some reason, Blade Runner is a great movie, but it's actually not one of my. It's not one of the movies I would consider one of my major inspirations. So I don't know. Okay, let's see, get this hand in here. Really, I only need like 4 or 5 frames. So I'm going to be picking and choosing which ones to use. This is Henrik's hand, actually, so he needs to have his suit jacket thing. Do you have plans for Mischief plushies? Woof. Yeah, I do, because those birds, they sold out, and but it's a little late to do it this year, because basically I get this stuff made like early in the year, like springtime, and they're ready by like the fall for Christmas and that sort of thing. So my next, if I'm gonna do another Mischief plushie, it will be next year, because this year I've been focusing on the vinyls, getting the vinyls for the soundtrack ready, and with all this stuff you have to upfront the cost to get the manufacturing done, and this year was actually kind of even tricky to get, a lot of delays this year because of COVID-19. And vinyls, I guess, are really popular now, so that's what delayed the coronavirus, the corona wave vinyls so much. I didn't anticipate there to be so much demand for vinyls this year, so I didn't think it would take as long as it did, but anyway, it's fine, they're out now. So Henrik wears a wedding ring on his index finger. I think that's index finger on his right hand, and I researched this. The reason why it's on his right hand and not his left hand is because he is Polish, and in a lot of Slavic countries they wear their wedding ring on their right hand. I think I researched that like when I actually had to draw the wedding ring the first time for him. And then I just did it again recently because I wanted to double check, but it's been so while. It's been a long time. Okay, save this. Do you know how long the finale is going to be? I think it's going to be about 10 minutes. It depends, because there's kind of like a section I haven't done yet that's at the very beginning. And so it might be 11 minutes, might be 12. It's probably going to be about the same length as the last episode. Which, I mean, this is another one of the reasons why it's taken me so long. Like, for instance, episode 10 was literally like 8 shots or something. Compared to this, which is like, I don't even want to know, like probably 40, 30 complicated, crazy shots with lots of rotoscoping. So, okay, so that's one frame of the hand. Here's another. I'll just. Excuse me. Okay. That's a weird frame rate. Okay. It's kind of hard to see this reference video. I'm gonna have to like, I think I screwed something up. It's one of the things of working in Photoshop is it's not really meant to be, it's not programmed very well for animation, so you have to do a lot of stupid stuff like this. Okay. Okay, I got my contrast back so I can actually see the hand. Okay. Thought I'd drop by before I go hit the hay there. Hey, Sergeant Green Cube. Have a good night. Daniel Huto. Thanks, Umami, for putting out your stuff. I really appreciate your work and it inspires me. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that. You're gonna string all the episodes together into one whole YouTube movie. I'm gonna take episodes 13 to 24 and put them in a compilation, but I don't think I'm going to put all of the episodes in one giant video, because I don't want to screw up the algorithm. Like, basically I rely on suggested views and stuff, and I don't know, like if I put like I'll basically have part 1 and then then I might have the full-length video and then part 2. It's just too many different versions of the same thing. So I was just gonna put part 2 out, and then people can watch part 1, and then there's gonna be a link at the end for part 2. You can click on that. And I am, to answer the other question, I am gonna do Blu-rays and stuff, but and that the Blu-ray will be like one continuous full thing, which should be about I don't know how long it's gonna be. It's gonna be about probably like 120 minutes maybe. You know, I've been doing a lot more rotoscoping recently, especially with the hands, but also like running and motion stuff. You know, when I first started this, I didn't really do that much rotoscoping, and I just kind of like guessed how people walked. I didn't even like animate a walk cycle before I did one, and it kind of looks silly. You know, some people might like it, but there's a shot in episode 23 of a walk cycle that I have to fix. It's like the wide one of the greetings guy. It just kind of looks like a Lego guy walking around. Doesn't look very good, so I'm gonna fix that one before I do the compilation. That's about the only thing I have to fix, really. When I did part 1 compilation, I had to fix so many things, blurry pixels and that sort of thing, that I didn't notice when I was making. I don't know how many frames I have to draw, maybe 4. You don't need that many for this. It's just him grabbing something quickly, so sometimes you add too many frames, it like looks weird. VHS, yeah, I'm also planning on doing a VHS tape sometime. Do you have in plan some other different series? I got a few things I want to do for sure, but for a series, I don't have anything solid yet. I have some one-off videos I want to plan to do. I got another Soup Sun video, which is I think it's gonna be great, and I got a few other short ones I want to do, and then it's gonna take me a while before I really want to, if I would decide to commit on another series, because it's like basically you're like saying to yourself, oh, I'm gonna commit to doing this for a full 2 years or maybe 3 years, you know. So I'm apprehensive about starting a new series, honestly, especially so soon after finishing one. So I might, you know, just do some short stuff for a while. Yeah, I think some people, yeah, I mean, the VHS thing will be pretty fun, I think. You know, with the VHS release, though, I have to, well, I have to buy some stuff. I'm about to get like a video card that can go out of the computer into analog composite video. And then I'll need a VCR, which I think there's one at my parents' house. CRT monitor. I don't even know where I'm gonna get one of those anymore, but maybe Kijiji or something. Cause I have to basically calibrate it for VHS. Otherwise, it will look too dark. That's the last thing I wanna, cause you know, with okay, so standard definition video, which is interlaced, 720 by 480, interlaced video, and you also have to keep in mind that there's title safe zones and stuff. Like, basically, the picture gets cut off at the corners. Because it's just the way CRT monitors work. They like project an image on the back of a thing, and so there's a little bit of a cutoff. So it's not so much I can just send them a file and they'll make a VHS tape for me. I'll have to, I'm gonna do it properly, because, you know, it's gotta look good. Even if, you know, most people are just gonna probably just have it collected for fun, you know. I don't know how many people still have CRT monitors and VCRs, you know. Some people do, I guess. How do you visualize your music and scenes in your mind? I don't know, man. It might be just some weird like ability that I have. Like, I don't know if everyone has this. Like, some people have the ability to like, I don't know, like, you know, that Jacob Collier guy. He knows like every single combination of key music scale possible combination. And for me, I've been making music for 10 years, and it's still like I struggle so hard with that stuff. I struggle to play E minor, which is like one of the easier friggin' scales to, you know, you just basically change one note. But for me, I can kind of like close my eyes and like just the visuals come out of the music. And it's, I don't know, like it's weird. Like sometimes I'll just sit there and laugh to myself because I'm like playing a YouTube video in my head. Like I got like some sort of like video memory in my brain or something. So for me, it just comes very easily. It comes more easily than like writing a script. If I'm having problems with the script, I'll just make music instead. And then after I make the music, there's just some sort of narrative forms. Maybe that's why the whole series seems kind of like dreamlike. I have to use my logical brain to make sense, like make sure that the story does have some sort of cohesiveness to it as well. So it's not just some nonsense that, you know. I don't really know how you can do that other than maybe try out meditation and that sort of thing. It might work for you. You know, I was watching some videos of David Lynch videos, and he says he does the same thing as when he's coming up with like a scene or something. He just kind of closes his eyes, and with like the music, it just kind of comes to him, I guess. Or I'm sure there's some other directors or creative people that work similarly. Perhaps I have to draw the ring on his hand. I've forgotten to draw the ring. Oh shit. Hey, Brandon Court, I've been watching your channel for a while now, only just realized you are Hex System. I thought that Hex System was another person. Hey, Brandon, no, thank you for the comment and for stopping in. The reason why I haven't, you know, I could have released my music, I could have just called my music Umami, but you know, when I was making my music a lot longer before I started making these animations, and I figured I probably shouldn't change my name for music, and I also kind of like to keep it a little bit separate, you know, because, you know, unfortunately, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't want me to stop making animations, and I'm not planning to anytime soon, but there might be a day in the future where I just want to make music instead, or not do the animation thing, and so I'll just, it's separate. I can make a, you know, it's under the Hex System stuff. People like that, they can follow that, but not everyone follows both, you know. I think there's some other animators on YouTube that do the same thing. I think David Firth has I think he releases his music under a different name. Locust Toy Box, I think, is it? Or maybe I could be I'm thinking something wrong. I think that might be it. Make it 16:9 or keep it in 16:9 rather. Oh yeah, I've been trying to think about experimenting, even with my animation style. I was thinking of making like one-off videos in a different style, just to see if I can do it, you know, because, you know, I like the pixelate pixelated style, but you know, sometimes I just want to try something a little bit different. So actually, you know what? I don't know if I need more than 3 frames. So I'm gonna just leave it like that and color it in now. This is a very simple grab shot, that's all it is. There's a lot of like kind of really simple shots, but they add up. I don't know what's going on in Photoshop. Okay, there we go. Have to add some wrinkles and stuff here. Tendons kind of show through. Would you be making more videos for Adult Swim? I probably won't. Just, you know, I don't need the well, thanks to you guys, really. I mean, I got the Patreon and stuff. I don't really need the money, and it makes more sense for me to just make animations for my own channel than to make it for a big corporation, basically. That's not to say it's not fun making stuff for Adult Swim, and there's obviously some, it kind of like legitimizes you a little bit, but that's just my reasoning behind it. I would consider it maybe if it was like more of a serious sort of thing, like a pilot or something. I might consider doing something like that, but if it's just kind of like the shorts, I probably won't be doing anymore. I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe like after Interface I'll have more time. Maybe I'll do a few. I don't know. All I know is that when I did them, I was really kind of pushing myself too much, and because I was working on Interface and the Adult Swim shorts at the same time. And it kind of, I was pushing myself too much and got a little bit burnt out, especially near the end of the 4th one I made for them. Let's see. Oh, it's a lot of comments here. Sorry, I will scroll through here. Will you have any sort of special features on the Blu-ray? Commentary track from you and Carolina would be cool. Hey, uʻmɑːmi, what's up, man? Probably. I think I might do that. Yeah, for sure. Music theory is arduous. I couldn't make it as a jazz musician because of the constant chord changes. Okay, yeah. Music theory is interesting, but it can definitely take the joy out of music. I'm just learning music theory just so I can better understand what the hell I'm doing. But I don't necessarily use it when I'm making music, if that makes any sense. But at least when I do shit and it doesn't sound right, at least I kind of know why it doesn't sound right now. Rather than me being like, everything sounds like out of tune and crap. Like when I started making music, I didn't even know like about scales. I was just like, why does this sound like crap? Like, you know, and then it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound right. And then I realized, oh wait, there's like scales and modes and you basically stay within a scale, and it kind of sounds so good no matter what you do, really, sort of, you know. And then you watch like other YouTubers out there being like, well, you don't really have to stay within the lines, you can go outside of them, but sometimes I do that. But every time I do that, it kind of makes this weird dissonance. I don't know if that's the right word. It doesn't come naturally to me, that's for sure. This, you know, I watch a lot of music theory videos too, and it's like at least I get it on a theoretical level, but I'm not. When it comes to practicing and stuff, I'm not actually. I'm not very good at like practicing. Okay, what else is there? These days, I have to look at photos or just close my eyes to make music. Then the music has to make me feel good about the photos I'm looking at. Tabby S. Scotch. That's interesting. So it's kind of like the opposite of what I have then. And I feel like, you know, it just everyone's programmed a little bit differently, or they have a little bit of a. And that's basically it. Everyone just has different ways of thinking about things, and so whatever works for you. That is, you gotta find what works for you. You know. There are days when music sort of flows out of me. There are other days when it's like squeezing water out of a rock. Yeah, I experience that a lot too. And I've experienced it enough that I realize that it really, if it doesn't matter, like if you sit down and you make something and it sounds like crap, it's fine. And I do that with drawing too, actually, a lot. I draw, like sometimes I sit on the couch, we have an iPad, and I just kind of doodle on the iPad, and a lot of it ends up being like kind of crappy drawings, but then once in a while something kind of cool comes out of it, so I post it on like the community page or whatever. That's what I've been doing recently. If you go to the community page, there's like this just drawing of like a bug that I drew, and it's just to keep the community. It's just kind of like keep you guys kind of like semi-entertained while in between episodes. I just post little pictures because it takes so long to make the full animations. So if you're making music and it's just like crap, it's fine, because you kind of have to do that once in a while just to get it out of your body. And then sometimes, like you're saying, it just flows out of you. Like that's what happens to me too. Like sometimes I'll make basically a whole song in one sitting, and then if I'll go back to the song the next day or over the next couple of weeks to finesse it, but the majority of the song's already there. When I make music, I start with something and I just go along with a song. Sometimes I have an idea of what I want, but usually not. Yeah, another good way, if you're like kind of like stuck in like, sometimes what I try to do is I try to replicate like a song or a music track that I like, and I never actually can do it. Sometimes it gets sort of close, but it never sounds exactly right. But when you do stuff like that and you try to replicate someone else's music, you kind of like, you learn a little bit about their techniques almost. Like you kind of like, oh, well, they're doing this and this is not what I would have done. You know what I mean? That can kind of open up the doors. So you make a new track and you use the same techniques without trying to replicate the song, and you make your own thing. It sounds really cool sometimes. I find that to be helpful. Have you seen Mr. Robot? I haven't seen that one yet. I know a lot of people have been recommending it to me, though. You suggested working with an animation studio before, Jacob Brown. Oh yeah, there was. I mean, you know, if I ever wanted to make a show, like a professional show, I probably would have to work with an animation studio. I can't do this by myself. I don't exactly have the business skills to hire a team of people either, you know, in an office. I don't really. Sometimes you have to admit to yourself, like, that's not what I'm good at, you know. So, and someone with a lot more experience in the animation world has advised me that, you know, if you go that route, you basically end up becoming like an HR sort of business. You're just dealing with people, and you know, and it's less about the animation. And really, what you, if you want to be about the animation, is you find a studio that will work with you. You hire them, right? So that's all stuff that I don't have to really think about right now because I'm not working with anyone. But in the future, who knows? You know, that's probably what I would have to do. Man, Henrik's hand's looking kind of weird. But let's just keep going. I'll fix it later. What do you think of the existence of cosmic particles? Can you elaborate more on what you mean by cosmic particles? Like, are you talking about like dark matter and stuff, or are you talking about like, I don't know, like Higgs? I don't really. I'm not very good at like physics. Like, I watch videos on YouTube because I find it interesting, but I'm not like I wouldn't consider myself well versed in it. Yeah. Rage at the Illusion. Have you ever thought about getting into making NFTs? Well, actually, I did make some NFTs. I made 3 of them. I don't know, like 6 months ago. And then I got a lot of flack because apparently they're really bad for the environment. And I don't really know, honestly. I don't know. I did my own research on this, and I think it's up. There's a lot of misinformation about how bad it is for the environment. Some people are attributing like the entire blockchain to like making one NFT. So I don't really know what the truth is, but basically I decided that I'm just gonna wait until Ethereum 2 comes out, which so that it doesn't rely on proof of work. It has proof of stake, so it basically doesn't. The whole energy consumption thing is thrown out the window. But also, you know, it is. I don't really. It's not what I set out to do. Like, I'm not here to make NFTs. Really, I just want to make my animation YouTube videos. Though, you know, I do recognize that, you know, as a digital artist, it seems to be one of the more lucrative ways to make money. So, you know, it's not, you know, it might just have to be one of those things that I'll have to consider more seriously, but right now I'm not really thinking about it right now too much. Let's see, what else is there? Thoughts on Pilot Red Sun's work? I don't really know what to say other than I love pretty much everything he makes. So, like literally everything. The stuff he made more recently, I would say, has a certain panache to it that is a little bit more, it feels more intentful, I guess. Is that the right word? I don't know if that's even a word. But yeah, I don't, you know, I just I wish there was more of it, because he's pretty, he doesn't upload very often. But wonder what he's working on now. Do you have any recommendations for someone who wants to mess around with rotoscoping? Something I could bumble my way through. Well, honestly, I mean, okay, so I don't know if you have Photoshop, but with Photoshop you can import a video, which is kind of cool, and you can just draw on top of it, which is exactly what I'm doing, sort of. Or was doing earlier. If you don't have Photoshop, I always recommend people try to look up Blender, because it's fast becoming an industry standard, or maybe it's not an industry standard yet, but it will be, trust me, in like 20, it's going to be 10 years from now, everyone that's learning how to use this stuff. It's just like Adobe Premiere when I learned it like 15 years ago. People used to shit on Adobe Premiere. They'd be like, oh, you're not using Avid. Avid's the industry standard. You're not using Avid, you're not a video editor. And little did they know that YouTube would explode, and pretty much, you know, how many YouTubers are using Avid to edit their videos? Like, and I'm not shitting on Avid. I'm just saying, like, it basically, whatever people are learning to use as software is going to be the predominant choice for those people when they enter the workforce as they mature. And so what I see right now is Blender is basically latching on to pretty much everyone that's young and learning how to make 3D stuff, because it's free. And not only is it free, it's getting really, really good. It's getting so good because all these big companies like Adobe and stuff are investing in it. And it's still free, and they're adding all these cool features like grease pencil and stuff. So I don't know really, to answer your question. Can you import a video into Blender and use grease pencil to rotoscope on top of? I don't really know. I just use Photoshop because this is what I know how to do. I tried a few other programs. I tried Clip Studio Paint, which you might be able to do that too, actually, but I didn't. I just found the software just complicated. I want a very simple software. Maybe that's why I like using Photoshop, because it's so rudimentary that it's kind of like, you know, there's a few things about Photoshop I wish they had, like gap fill, like when I fill in the hand here with the paint bucket tool. You know how it fills the entire thing because there's like a gap of pixel right here, right? In Blender, they got stuff that basically accounts for those little gaps. And you don't have to go in and manually connect everything like I do in Photoshop. Thoughts on Joel G? Joel G's the guy that made the ENA videos. I don't really have any thoughts on him because I don't really know him at all. I mean, I've seen his animations, and they're completely unique in their own way. But I haven't really watched that many of them either. I think I saw one of the long ones, but I kind of skipped through it because I didn't have that much time. And it seems very cool. I don't really have an opinion on his stuff, so. Okay. Would you ever collab with other YouTube animators? I plan to. I definitely plan to. I've been actually, there's some people who've been wanting to collab with me. I've just been turning them down because I just wanted to focus on interface, get the series completed. Once this is done, I'll have more time to do more kind of. I have like a really one-track kind of brain, so I can only think of like one thing at a time. And my whole web series has just been occupying my brain for like the past 3 years, and I can't think of anything else really. Like I've turned down like opportunities not only just from other YouTubers, but like people that are like established, like musicians and stuff, like well-known people. I just can't do it. I have to focus on the interface until this is complete, and I'm so close. It's very close. Let's just get this last episode out. And the last episode is like, it's like when you're installing a program on your computer and it like stays at 99% for like 10 minutes. That's basically what it feels like. Photoshop is, I think Photoshop is cool. It's just expensive, you know. If you're paying for it monthly like I am, it adds up. What's the advantage of keeping the outline on a separate layer and filling it in with the paintbrush tool instead of using the fill tool? Well, you can do it both ways. I like putting the outline on a separate layer because because if I want to color underneath stuff, like the underneath, you know, if I wanted to add some orange highlights to this hand, which I'm about to do, I can just swipe underneath the black real quickly. I don't have to like select the area and then, you know what I mean? And also, I like to do the outlines typically first, so I have an idea of what the animation looks like in black and white, and then just putting the color on a separate layer keeps things a little bit more clean. So I mean, there's no good or wrong way to do things. It's just that's how I do it, because I think it ends up looking a little bit more clean, I guess. It's easier to work with. Times change, especially when the standard software is mad expensive, like Mudbox back in 2010 and whatnot. Hence the rise of Blender. Yeah, even Cinema 4D is like friggin' expensive. It's like $4,000, and I didn't buy the full version. I paid for a license for 1 year, and that, you know, because I wanted to really see if I was going to use it a lot, and I am using it pretty frequently, but now I mostly just use it for rendering reference stuff. I don't know if it's worth paying $4,000 just to do reference stuff, you know. Not staying for spoilers, but I appreciate all the work you do, man. Hey, thank you, Apathicus. There's not really any spoilers other than this hand doing stuff, but no worries. When I'm filling stuff that I like to draw, like an outline layer, Yeah. Would you consider Interface your magnum opus? I hope not. I mean, I really do hope that it's just the beginning of making more awesome stuff. I'm 31 years old now, so hopefully by the time I'm 40 I'll have something else out there that's pretty cool. But it might be something that's pretty cool but not animation, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be like doing animation like forever, you know what I mean? It's just I don't really feel like animation's my calling, honestly. It's something that I'm doing right now because I wanted to try it out and it worked out for me. But I still find animation like very difficult thing for me to do. The only thing that's getting me through these episodes is like me basically holding myself accountable to complete something, you know? Because it can't just have 23 episodes and no finale, like that would be lame. I have to do something, I have to finish it, right? So Tucker Letford. I think my greatest natural talent is discovering things close to their end. I found this channel in December of last year, and I got to see the bulk of the work finished. It got me. I now get to bury it. I mean, no worries. I mean, that happens to me. I mean, I didn't discover David Lynch's movies when they came out because I was a kid, basically. Or even like on YouTube, like The Big Les Show. I didn't really discover the show until it was like finished. I think there was one episode remaining when I discovered him. So just how it is, I guess. Though I guess it is kind of cool to like be there from the beginning and see the progress. There's some people here from the beginning, though. I recognize some of your names, and I know I've seen you guys here for the past 3 years. I really do appreciate you guys. How did I come up with Interface? Well, that's a kind of a long answer. But like I was saying earlier, it kind of came from me visualizing scenes after making music. I didn't really plan it out. And about halfway through, I started connecting the pieces with my more logical brain, I guess. I think in the FAQ down in the bottom, there'll be more cohesive answer about that. Because I usually get that question a lot. Tucker Ledford, this is the end of a series that has been running since 2017. Closure feels nice, and I'll miss the series and the cool ways it tickled my brain. Thanks, man. Hey, thank you, Tucker Ledford. I appreciate that. Fruit Dragon Media. I love the work. Do you know if you have any other web series in mind? Interface is so good, I believe. Well, I have a few ideas in mind, but like I said before, I'm not going to commit to a web series right away. So, because I need to like take a break from long form media for a bit. But I do have some ideas in my head. But I'm not gonna like tell you guys what they are, because some of these ideas I might actually want to take them to a studio or something, or like a network, and pitch them or something maybe. And I don't really have that many ideas. There's only a couple of them that I'm really kind of thinking might be cool. So it's really hard to come up with like stuff like this. For me, anyway, I find. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm just adding 3 frames that I can loop so that it can make the shot longer, and so when he does grab. And I'm just adding some variation to the shading because it makes it look more alive as it loops, so it's not just a static image. You know about Matt from Quantum Conscious channel and his overview of interface, Canada B-Boy. I have, I'm not too familiar with his channel, but I did click through some of his videos when he made the series review, and I thought it was an interesting take on some of the things that he mentioned. Was a unique new take that I haven't seen other people make the connections before. Because there's a lot of reviews on YouTube now about interface. All of them kind of have a slightly different interpretation. If anyone's interested in watching any of those, they're on my channel page. There's a playlist called Interface Reviews. Hey, let's see. How would you describe your scent, Mr. Umami? You know, like when you like go in your pantry and you find like a bag of potatoes that have been in there for like 8 months, and they got all those like potato roots that kind of grow out of the bag, and it smells kind of like soil. I would probably say that's probably my scent. Monster CC got my vinyl. Thanks for the huge poster too. Hey, Monster CC, thank you, man, for purchasing the vinyl. I've been shipping those out like crazy the past couple weeks. Yeah, the poster is pretty big. It's like, I don't know what it is, 24 by 36 maybe, or maybe it's 20. I don't know what it is, the size the poster is, but it's pretty big. Folds out. If you uncrease the creases a little bit, it looks a lot nicer. The interface part 2 is going to have a similar double-sided poster as well. Very big. Hey, Mike's Exotics. Hey, Umami got a good Papa John's promo code. I'm watching the stream while trying to order a pizza. Enjoy your pizza, Mike Exotics. What kind of exotics do you have? It looks like you got a rattlesnake there, or some sort of python in your profile picture. When are you going to be on the cover of Men's Health, Mr. Umami? Chuck. Probably never, because my health actually kind of sucks, without going into specifics. But I had some major health problems when I graduated university. And my teeth are not so great either, according to my dentist. And and got like sciatica in one of my legs. So just having a good time. I'm also allergic to something. I think it's the detergent that I'm using, Purell, so I have to change that because I've been very itchy and scratchy. Okay, let's just watch this. Not bad. Now, I'm not entirely sure about the lighting in this shot, but I think the bottom of his coat jacket would be darker. But I don't know if I want to do that, because sometimes it doesn't look good, so I'm going to do that. Would you ever direct live action films? KS. If I was given the opportunity to, I would definitely probably do that. I've done it before for short films, plenty of times. I've done it for my thesis film in university. I think I'd be a little bit in a better place to do it now than I was, better equipped to do it now than I was back then, because I've kind of, just making the web series kind of gave me a better idea of what kind of, what is this, what it is the style I'm trying to go for, what is I'm trying to say, you know? Oh, I'm missing a lot of comments here. Used mop? I don't know, man. I mean, like, what if I were to stop animation for a bit? I don't know. Like, I kind of, I like to do paintings and stuff, but I don't think that's really my thing either, you know. And making music is sort of something I like to do too. I don't really know. Whatever I feel like doing is what I'm gonna do, and I've always kind of been like that. Have you ever thought about leaning into the horror genre? Not necessarily, because Hassan, if I were to lean in like the horror genre, I feel like a lot of horror movies have kind of exhausted the genre. There's a lot of horror movies out there, and I think there's like room for new genres. Like you can have horror-esque genres that aren't necessarily horror. Like I would consider Interface it's not horror, but there's like psychological kind of questions that makes you think about things and makes maybe it's you know, Mischief isn't like a horrifying character really. He might look that way, but he's not really. I think I probably wouldn't go into to make anything specifically just horror related. If it might have like elements that are like horror, but it's like that movie. What's that Francis Ford Coppola movie that takes place in a hotel? It's The Shining. Is The Shining considered horror? Because I don't really consider it. I feel like it's more like psychological. I mean, there's a moment he comes in with the axe and stuff, right? I guess that's like horror, but I guess it's a typical horror movie. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. You know, the thing about David Lynch movies and stuff, I don't actually really like his Twin Peaks stuff that much. I tried to get into it. I tried to watch the original Twin Peaks, and then I tried to watch the remade Twin Peaks, and there was elements to it that were cool, but then there was some stuff it wasn't clicking for me. I don't know what it is. I really love his movies though. Lost Highway and Blue Velvet. Blue Velvet's probably one of my favorites of his. And The Straight Story is actually, I mentioned this on a stream before, but I think The Straight Story is a really underrated movie. I guess it got an Oscar nomination or something, so maybe it's not underrated, but people don't really talk about The Straight Story as being a good movie, but it's like, I think it's one of his best movies, and it's because he was more restrained with the weirdness that he incorporates into his stuff in that movie. But it still came through. There was like elements that felt very much like a Lynch movie, but it wasn't like so in your face about it, like that guy from Lost Highway that shows up with the white face, like powdered face, and he's talking about phoning himself at his house with his own phone. You guys remember that scene? The Straight Story is like kind of like a rural rural drama that isn't necessarily bizarre, but there's parts of it just that definitely feel like it was directed by David Lynch, Hey, the Fuzzster, thank you for the comment there. Have you expanded your soft drink fetish anymore? No, I I haven't really, no. Mariana McLeod, thank you for the comment there. I appreciate that. I don't know if you're still here with us, but Dune is gorgeous. Hey, David Lynch's Dune. Apparently he doesn't like that movie. I've never seen it. That's one of the few David Lynch movies I haven't seen. But I saw some clips and it looks like kind of crazy. Like there's some really bizarre looking stuff going on in that movie. Okay. Who's the guy that made the new Dune movie? What's his name? He's from Montreal too, isn't he? He made Sicario 1 and the Blade Runner, the remade Blade Runner. He made Prisoners. Prisoners and Sicario 1 are excellent movies. I don't know about this trailer though. I saw this trailer for this Dune movie and it doesn't look very... The CGI looks kind of cheesy, honestly. That's just my opinion. I don't think it... I don't know. It doesn't... It didn't like get me excited when I saw the trailer, so... Oh, he also made Arrival, which, by the way, I'm in that movie as an extra because they were filming scenes here in Montreal, and I got a call. I went down there for a day, and you probably can't see me. I'm probably like 3 pixels wide because it's like this like wide shot when they're like doing evacuations and everyone's like walking outside the building. How, Corneli? How would you describe your writing creative process? Do you make sketches, or do you write something like a script? Corneli, what I normally do is I make the music first. That's the very first thing I usually do. And after I make the music, I kind of just like close my eyes and sort of go into a dream state and sort of visualize what's happening in the scene. And that's kind of just the way I work. I don't really know. If I were to sit down and consciously write a script, it probably wouldn't have the same qualities that Interface has. It depends on what I'm writing though. Like for instance, if I'm writing a Soup Sun video, for some reason I don't need to make the music first. Because for the Soup Sun videos, it's more about what he's saying and not the audio-visual experience as a whole. Because the Soup Sun kind of has like this personality where he's like constantly, he's saying stuff like congratulating you, but then he kind of like one-ups you by his existence. And it's more comedy. So I guess with the comedy stuff, I'm more conscious about what I'm writing. But when it comes to everything else, it's just more of a hallucinatory, I don't know, sort of musical influenced dreamscape. You didn't get the final edit, the studio took it over and butchered it. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember him watching, I remember some videos and he was like basically never give up Final Cut because that's because of what happened to Dune. And I really do hope to keep, take his advice because, but that's the thing though, it's not easy to just get Final Cut on what are these video projects, especially if you're like a new director. You know that David Lynch almost directed Star Wars? Like George Lucas asked him to direct an epic, like one of the Star Wars movies. Did you? That would have been strange. I feel like David Lynch took like a different path. He had this opportunity to make these big budget movies, and he just decided no. And then maybe that's a good thing. That's because I don't know if we would have gotten some of these crazier movies that he made had he done that. I find it interesting that George Lucas thought of David Lynch, though, of all people, to direct Star Wars. Like, honestly, that's like some open-minded thinkingness on George Lucas's part, is it not? Denis Villeneuve, yeah, that's his name. That's what I was talking about earlier. Edgy, what exactly is Interface to you? Do you see it as an adventurous story filled with existential dread? Edgy, I feel like Interface is kind of a metaphorical reflection of current society, and maybe not everyone sees that, but to me that's the way I see it, and that's kind of how I sort of wrote it, which is, even though we're more connected than ever, we're kind of disconnected in some ways. Everything is behind a digital screen. You guys ever see that meme where there's a guy at work and he's like, bad screen, I hate coming here to work and look at the bad screen, and then the next panel is him being like, I can't wait to go home and look at the good screen. Because it's true for, not everyone, but a lot of people, it's true. You go home and it's just like, what do? You just flop over and watch freaking TV or something, or video games. It's another computer monitor, if you're not looking at it, you're looking at your phone. It's just, I don't know, like I almost feel like maybe I should. I wish I was like born like 70 years ago and could have avoided this whole computer thing. And you know, I would probably end up having to go to World War II and dig ditches instead of, you know, drawing cartoons on YouTube for money like that. Everything has positive and negatives, I guess. I agree, it left me kind of flat. I love Dune, but not sure about this new one. I mean, I'm going to reserve judgment before I really see the movie. But typically when I see a trailer, I can kind of tell if it's going to be a good or bad movie. I don't think there's really been a time where I saw a trailer and I was, you know, the movie itself threw me off. Have you seen Blood Machines or any of Carpenter Brutt's music? Christian Kramer. Hey, sorry man, I haven't. Hey, welcome back to the stream, dude. I think you always recommend me music, and I'm really like I'm not really like well versed in musicians. I mean, I have Spotify and I find some musicians that way, but. Okay, look, I'm drawing rocks again. I know that some people are like, oh, he's only drawing rocks on his live stream. But today I also drew a hand. The reason why I'm only drawing rocks on these live streams is because I don't want to give away spoilers, and it's kind of, you can't really give away a spoiler by drawing a rock. Other than the fact that there's obviously a lot of rocks in this episode. Radiac 55. I landed a job last week. I'm ready to drop that dough on a couple shirts. By far one of the coolest clothing designs I've seen on YouTube channel. Radiac, hey man, well, I really do appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Let me see if I can give you a discount code if you want to. Just give me a few seconds here. How do you do that now? Tools? Pricing discount? Okay. Oh, that's not it. Okay, here it is, I found it. Code is really crappy code, but whatever. Everyone that's in the stream, if you want, here's the code for merch on the Teespring store. Not if you go to the Teespring store. It will give you $10 off, I think. That's the code right there. It's a number. Let's see, what else is there? Taylor Benson. Thoughts on Blade Runner 1982 and 2049? The first Blade Runner is much better than the remake, in my opinion. The second one has some cool things to it, but I don't think, you know. What's the guy that plays the villain in the remake? He was in that movie Requiem for a Dream, or whatever. I don't think he was very compelling as a villain. There was moments in the remake where I kind of felt it was just like, you know, you're going after this guy, but you send like only like one squad car of people after him. Like, it's just, I don't know. There was this. I think the original feels a lot stronger as a film. That's all. I don't really have strong opinions about it though. You know, like I said before, Blade Runner is a cool movie, but it's not. I wouldn't really consider it one of my main influences. Joker trailer stoked me completely. Yeah, the Joker movie was good. I loved it. You know, I thought it was great. The new one with Joaquin Phoenix, he did an excellent job. Yeah, that whole sequence where he, well, spoilers. I mean, if you haven't seen the movie, I guess. That scene at the talk show at the end there, where that completely caught me off guard, because that kind of stuff like never happens like in Hollywood movies. Like, you would have like a talk show that obviously is a replication of a show that already exists, but then you have something like that happen to like the host and be like, that's like, I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool of what they did there. It was kind of shocking, I guess. And Joaquin Phoenix did such an eerily good job at playing someone with that kind of mental condition that his character had. It felt super realistic, kind of scarily so. I think Joaquin Phoenix is an excellent actor. My dad decided that for my 13th birthday he would show myself and my 6th birthday guest Eraserhead. One girl was scarred for life. You know, Eraserhead, like, it requires a lot of patience because it's pretty slow from what I remember. It's more slow than even his, like, some of his other stuff. And I did watch Eraserhead once, but I remember thinking to myself, I don't think I could watch Eraserhead again. It just felt a little too, the pacing was just too slow for my taste, even though I like his other movies a lot. Last comment before I go, passively listening to the stream while coding. I really love the stream. Usually happens at 1 or 3 a.m. in my time zone. Insomnia nights have never been better. Hey, Edgy, thanks for stopping in, man. Do you like the band Swans? Some ambient parts of Soundtrack for the Blind. I think they're interesting to listen to if you daydream. I have not heard, I am not familiar with them, so I can't say for sure. You mentioned that you exercise before. What sort of workouts do you do? I don't do anything crazy. I just I go to the gym like once a week. So usually I do like squats with the you know, the bars on your shoulders, because I sit a lot, and Gotta work out my legs. And there's also like the leg press that I do. And then just kind of like, I don't know, like I don't even know what they call it, but you just call them you get the bench and you push the weights up, and then you can move the seat up and you push them above your head. Alright, and there's also that thing that works your back muscles. You can pull on it. Or there's pull-ups. I do a lot of pull-ups to try to work the muscles in the upper back too, because it helps with your posture and stuff, you know, and your lower back. I try to get those muscles going too, and I usually go there for like, I don't know, 2 hours. I should probably go more often, but it's hard to go to the gym, like, because I'm trying to like animate stuff. It's like I go to the gym for 2 hours, come home, I'm like tired, you know. There goes like 4 hours basically. I could have did a whole shot of my animation or something, but it's important to exercise, especially if you're doing something that requires a lot of sitting, like animation. Hey Radiac, thanks man. You mentioned, okay, I have a hard time with both Blade Runner movies because I read the novel first and loved it too much. Hey, well that's probably even better than both the movies, so I don't blame you, I mean. Gertrude Herman, it's the end of Interface. Yes it is. Sorry. You can read more about it. Just click in the description. There's like I wrote a whole paragraph about what's the future of Interface and stuff. Do you know Akira Yamaoka? And I believe he's the guy that made the music for Silent Hill movies, for the video games, I mean. And he's a major influence for me. I really like the soundtracks that he made, for sure. Like big time. Him and Jesper Kid, who made the soundtracks for the Hitman games. Those are also pretty big influences for my music. And Bars of Canada, I guess. Hey, off meds tonight. Thank you for the comment there. Oh shit! Hold on. Sorry, guys. These comments are so much. I'm missing them all. Well, I'm probably like 10 minutes delayed on my comments. I'm pursuing music and you are very inspired. Hey, Lucas Miller, thanks, man. I appreciate that. What kind of music are you pursuing? Do you want to be a composer, or are you more of a solo musician, or what are you planning on doing? Hey, Ricky Banis, you're welcome, man. I appreciate this. Thank you so much. Hex Systems, loving the rocks today. Yeah, I know. Eh? These are some quality looking rocks with a hand. It has a hand, so it's not just rocks. It's a hand touching the rocks. It's actually not touching the rocks in the shot, but I cut out the thing that would kind of give a spoiler. So, Bob Thenebe. Thanks for the promo code, boss. Hey, man. Well, I thank you for the super chat. So I appreciate that. I'm Quantum. Hex System show idea: a milk crate with a speaker and a television, while Hex System stands next to it using a large umbrella to shield the equipment from the rain. No. Okay. Does it have to be a milk crate? I don't even know where you get milk crates anymore. Green Book Reclaim. I regret not climbing the mountain today. I hope my old folk will stay true to their attitude and not give up on how they're becoming 50. I did the Chimney Alfonso yesterday. I freaking chopped his head off. Nice work, man. I mean, I feel like Chimney Alfonso kind of deserved it. He's a little bit rude, so. I wanted to make a character that was kind of like angry. So that's what happened to Chimney Alfonso. Legendary Z. Do you have an Instagram? I do have an Instagram. So, here. You just type in my name on Instagram. And you can find me on there posting doodles and stuff and random crap from my day-to-day life. I don't really like post animations on there. 7T7 Blade, you're welcome, man. Thank you. What's your favorite noodle flavor? I don't like noodles. Don't really have that much different flavors, really. Do you know? I guess if I don't really know all the different types of pasta either. I can't. I'm sorry. I don't know. What kind of cash would it take you to get you to remaster the earlier episodes of Interface? I don't know, man. I probably wouldn't do it because the thing is like you get caught up in it. Like if I remastered the first episode, I could redraw Henrik so he looks less like potato-ish. But then I'll notice like, oh, in episode 2, he also kind of looks potato-ish in this scene, and then in episode 4, there's this thing I could fix, and then unfortunately with Interface, the first 2 episodes kind of look pretty rough, and then it starts looking okay, like 3 and 4 or 5 kind of starts looking a little bit better. But I don't think I want to remaster them or redraw them because it's kind of the charm of the series is when you watch it, it sort of looks like crap and then it slowly starts getting nicer to look at throughout the series. I don't know, it's just the way it is. I mean, probably whatever I do next, if I'd ever made another series, it would probably have a more consistent look to it throughout the whole thing, because I basically spent the past 3 years learning how to draw. I mean, I knew how to draw before, obviously, but it's one thing to like draw a picture, like one image, and fix everything and spend like several weeks on it, and it's another thing to draw things quickly and animate them and have it look pretty good looking, but also moving on to the next shot within like a couple hours, you know. What do you think of making an OST for a game? I think your music would be great for a game, in my opinion. Gruff RBV. If any studio asked me to make a soundtrack for a game, I'd probably be up for it. Unless I didn't like the content of the video game, which would have to be pretty hard, because I'm not like choosy about that stuff. I remember one of the bands I like to listen to music to, there was a band called Health, and there was one video game I liked to play a lot back in the day, Max Payne. I remember Max Payne 3 came out, and they're like, oh, the soundtrack is by Health. And it was like 2 things I really enjoyed just randomly came together. It was like, whoa. And then the soundtrack for it is also fantastic, in my opinion. I really like it. So. What is an art style you really love? My favorite is the Jet Set Radio. Ball cap McDrive. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's like cell shading kind of. That's kind of like video game cell shading style. That game has a really good style because it used the limitations to its advantage, which was low polygons. If you use cell shading with low polygons, you actually mask the fact that you don't have low polygons, because you don't see every single polygon shadow shade, basically. That game has a pretty cool style to it. I mean, I don't know, what is my favorite style? What is an art style you really love? You know that channel Voon? VEWN? She's got these like hand-drawn looking backgrounds and stuff, and they're all out of perspective, obviously on purpose though. I think it's a great style. I think it's one of my favorites for animation, for sure. And it's like completely different from, it's not, I wouldn't say it's completely different. We got like similar lighting, but it's a different drawing style, like perspective. I usually draw things in perspective. Jacob Brown, I interpret interface as dealing with how society is affected by paradigm shifts in science and changes our understanding of reality itself. You know, it's like this, guys. It's only been what, like 60 years since we've put someone on the moon. And 60 years before that, there was like the first flight, basically. So in the grand scheme of things, we're like not even starting to, like, we're not even beginning to understand how the universe works. Like, we're so like, we've been on, how long have humans been on Earth? Like hundreds of thousands of years, basically. And the planet's been around for millions and millions of years. And in the past 120 years, we go from basically no flight to, you know, considering putting people on Mars in like a decade, basically. I just think there's like so much to learn about the universe. So it's just, I don't know if that's necessarily like how I would interpret interface, but there's definitely like things about the universe we don't understand. And so maybe the cerebral electricity is kind of like a metaphor for that, you know? Voon, it's it's not W, it's VEWN. If you look up Voon on YouTube, you'll see her animations. Do you have an opinion? Oh wait, Dane, thank you for the comment there. I appreciate that. Do you have an opinion on Art Nouveau dating to the 1960s when they did a lot of psychedelic designs? Let me just refresh my memory, because I studied this when I went to art school. Oh yeah, okay, Art Nouveau, yeah. It kind of reminds me of like Art Deco. Art Nouveau has like the really well done like watercolor paintings, and oh yeah, Gustav Klimt. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like, it's not like my favorite style of art, but it's very beautiful for sure. I don't know, I don't really have much to say about it though. I find it to be quite illustrative to a point where it almost feels more like, I don't know, it's probably like a little bit snooty or something for me to say, but it doesn't feel like it's like it feels separate from like traditional painting almost. It almost feels like a more advertise based. I mean, I don't, maybe that's some of the history it comes out of, but it feels more graphic design based than like fine arts based, even though they are it's obviously fine art. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm not so much into it. It feels too illustrative for me, which, I mean, obviously you can appreciate illustration, but for those reasons, I guess that's why I wouldn't. I don't know. Art Nouveau is one of those things I just don't really. It doesn't click with me that much so much. The face guy. Quick, convert my money to CAD and keep it safe in your pocket before the USD is worthless. Also, where can I obtain the music from Chimney Alfonso? It was great. The face guy, I'm not really sure if I even released that music because it might be on the Patreon, but considering you just gave me like $50, which I do appreciate quite a bit, maybe I'll just post a link in here and you can just download it real quick, because let me just pull up the files. Chimney Alfonso. I don't think I officially released them because they were not mastered, and it's not really music I would make typically for my own. Sorry, let me just find Chimney Alfonso. I don't even know where he is. Okay, bonus videos. Chimney. Okay, I think I found it. Okay, let's see. Chimney Alfonso theme, Chimney Alfonso travel music, Chimney television. What does this sound like? Okay, I'm just gonna put these in a folder. Some of them are not quite like. Mastered, or they don't even have like proper names, so I'll just put these in a folder real quick. It's in a temp folder, so anyone who clicks on this link can get them, but it won't last. I think maybe it'll only last a couple months. Oh, I made a folder and I just put it in the trash. Hold on. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, copy Dropbox link. Okay, here you go, man. And anyone else who wants those. He plans on doing more animation after Interface. I've really enjoyed your work over the past couple of years since I discovered your channel. BK Pass. Oh yeah, I'm still going to be doing animations. Not necessarily series, but you know, for the next little while, probably the next year, I'll just be doing like one-off videos. Probably more frequently, definitely more frequently than I've been releasing them this year. This year has been like, I think I put out like 4 animations because the part 23 it was like 11 minutes long, and part 24 is like another 11-minute video. So usually I have like a video out once a month, but this year I've just been working on interface, getting it finished, so I had to kind of slow down a bit. But I want to go back to like having shorter videos that are more frequent. That's kind of what I enjoy doing more. You know, I like making interface stuff, but like it's kind of a grind, man, at this point, a little bit, honest, if I'm being honest. This series is really confusing. Could you briefly explain it? Well, basically, anything that happens in the series, it's like, you know, a lot of it is based on symbolism and metaphors and that sort of thing. And it's not really supposed to be like a literal thing happening. It's almost like it's, you know how you like when you wake up from a dream and you're like, oh, these weird things happened in the dream and they don't really make any sense. But in some way, you know that the dream is trying to give you a message. That's kind of what my intent is with the interface. I'm trying to give you some sort of message without directly saying it. I'm also trying to, you know, it's also kind of cool to make something that's loose enough that people have different interpretations, but it has enough connections between things that there's still a storyline that still makes sense. At the end of the day, it's about Henrik, who's trying to come to terms with what has happened to his family and the fact that he has outlived them all. And that's basically the whole story that takes place in a universe where a ton of different things are happening. That's basically it. I don't really like explaining interface too much, so that's probably where I'm going to leave that. Have you ever heard the mixes by Haircuts for Men? Not a comparison, but I really like their stuff. I have heard their music, and then I used to listen to it quite a bit when I was animating, but then something happened where I would listen to it and something about the music, it almost felt like well, I mean, vaporwave is basically finding old music, slowing it down, adding certain effects and stuff to it, but it almost kind of felt to me like it was being commoditized too much. I almost felt like the artwork on the albums that they did were too slick, and something about it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I stopped listening to it. And that's not to say it's bad music or whatever, it's just, I don't know, something about it kind of, I don't know. And I like listening to music that's been remixed and other people's music and stuff too, but I feel like vaporwave, sometimes it like borrows too much. And you know, the Caretaker, I don't think from the Caretaker, from what I understand, I think they still make the music that's underneath all the effects. There's a lot of stuff that, I'm not saying that that's all they do. I mean, they do, they chop it up and they mix it in, and they do stuff that's like a DJ would do too, but I've heard them though, and I do appreciate the music. It's pretty dope though, I guess. Yeah. Oh man, I'm getting this question like 50 times today. So, any plans to do any more series? Like I've said, for the next while, I'm not going to be doing any more series. Just until, you know, I need a break, basically, about a year. Okay, wait, hold on. I think I might have read that question twice. I showed my dad one of your songs and he said it feels like he's in a Picasso painting. That's interesting. From the music that he thought that, I thought you might have said that from watching one of the animations, but that's interesting. Anyways, I'm thinking I'm gonna call it a night, guys. I didn't plan to stream very long today. I just wanted to do some quick animation here and say hello to you all again, because I'm gonna go back into my animation corner and try to get Interface episode 24 out by the end of the month, but we'll see how that goes. I might be able to do it. I was recommended Life is Reese's Pieces, guess because I had watched a video on Papa Roach. Been a sub ever since. Thanks, Justin. Also, the guy that sang in that video is The Minute Hour. Is another good YouTube channel you might want to check out. Just type in The Minute Hour on YouTube. He's got some cool animations on there. He does the voices mostly for the stuff on his channel, and he collaborates with a lot of animators. I ended up here because someone in David Firth's server shared interface with me a while back. Oh yeah, that's cool, man. Or presumptuous commenter. I didn't know David Firth had a server. What do you mean, like Discord? I know he's on YouTube now. I think vaporwave music is on a fine line between creative freedom and industrial blandness. Some of it okay, there's this YouTube channel that I forget what it's called. This is Dan Productions or something, and he goes to like dead malls and he films like malls that are like not very popular anymore, and they got all these old decorations and stuff. I just like watching his stuff sometimes because it gives me this like weird feeling of like sort of like depression and dread. I don't even know why I do this to myself. Like, it's just a weird feeling to get when you watch stuff like that. But anyways, he uses a lot of vaporwave music kind of in the background because it kind of matches almost sometimes. It's like 80s like saxophone that has like some sort of reverby voice. Always wondered about why you include classic art in your animations. Is it in part to present your art as in conversation with classic works? You know, I don't even know why I decided to do that. The first time I did it was because of the one by Salvador Dali, Geopolitical Child, and I forget what the name of the painting is. But then once I did one painting, I was like, you know what, maybe it'd be cool if every once in a while I have another painting reference. And they don't have to like literally go to a museum and look at the painting like they do in the episode 5 or whatever it is. But the references could carry throughout, and these are some of my favorite paintings, and I liked the artist's like explanation behind the paintings and what they mean, and try to have the meaning of the episode sort of mirror the episode, the meaning of the painting. And it's not always the case. There's some paintings that for instance, Christina's World, visually you can see the similarities between the web series and the painting, because there's the house and there's the woman that kind of looks like Henrik's daughter. But when you research the meaning behind that original painting, it kind of changes things a lot. It's not necessarily the same at all, because it was about this disabled woman that Andrew Wyeth, I think, is that how you pronounce his last name, painted, who lived in the house, and she's actually crawling to the house because she can't use her legs. And it has nothing, I mean, that's nothing really related to interface. I mean, Henrik's daughter had legs that she could use and stuff. I think a lot of people see that painting and they think she's just yearning to the house, leaning back, you know, relaxing, whatever, in the field. But actually, the woman couldn't use her legs. And maybe this would be a good idea to pull up the references on like a screen. Geopoliticus child. Let's see if I can find that one. Yeah, Geopoliticus child watching the birth of the new man. And so the reason why I chose this painting, I'll pull this over so you can see it better. Oh, such a low resolution image. Oh my god. This is why I hate using Google Images. Let me just use Yandex. Because you can't actually like find high resolution photos easily anymore. You have to like, it shows you like Pinterest images and stuff. You can't even click on them. Okay, so this is the first painting. And Salvador Dali said basically that the new man is North America, or the United States basically. With the rapid development of technology that came out of World War II and World War I, I guess, and basically the war of the machine basically drove a lot of the growth and technology. And you have the rocket moon, you know, the moon, the space race, and like post-industrialization, and it's like something out of the earth sparked. And it's like I was talking about before, we go from not being able to fly to putting someone on a moon in 60 years almost. It's like something happened, and all of a sudden, you know, if you were to look at a graph, it's like humanity's technology growth goes like this, and it just spikes, goes right up. And some of the symbolism here, I don't know if he like intends some of this stuff, but you got this kind of like woman here on the side with the child that kind of looks starved almost, like pointing towards it. And I don't know exactly what that reference is, but maybe it's the fact that, you know, in other parts of the world, third world countries, for instance, they don't have the same wealth and ability to, you know, and they're basically watching from the sidelines almost, kind of like you see here. And there's like this big blood drip here on the side. So another thing, it was like the nuclear bomb was developed, right, basically in America. And so all this technology came out at a certain point in time. And it's the new man is basically not literally a man, but it's like the new, it's like what's reality now. It's completely changed, it's a new thing, you know, and we're coming out of the earth, going to do these new technology things. It's like a shell, it's like an egg that you're like hatching from, right? That's all these kind of like little things like try to incorporate into the web series. And then there's like another painting, The Horse and Train by Alex Colville, which I'm also going to put in the Yandex because Alex Colville is a Canadian painter, and I know about him because he's from Nova Scotia. But also, his paintings are, I don't know if they're like renowned around the world, but they're definitely noticed by a lot of. I can't seem to click on the right image here. This painting was kind of like, I don't know, like I'm trying to, like Henrik is basically deciding what he has to do, you know. He's almost like kind of suicidal in some ways, and so he's running towards like something that he can die from, but at the same time he can't kill himself, and so he's gonna have to make a decision, and it's like either he runs to the left or he runs to the right. And I don't really know what Alex Colville's was thinking of when he made this painting, but from a visual standpoint, that's kind of sort of how I interpreted it, and I felt that it was appropriate to mix into the story. And then, so not only that, then you have this painting, and then you can build a world from using the painting. So this, like the train in Interface episode 23, it was influenced from this painting because I thought, well, there's this train and the horse. Maybe there's a train that Henrik is riding, and maybe actually I can work that into the story somehow. And I don't know. I don't really like. I kind of work in like an intuitive sort of way. I don't really like. It just sometimes just go with it sometimes. So hopefully that explains some stuff. I didn't even notice that the body is coming from America, and the hand is even covering the general area of Europe, representing societies of industrial progress. I think it was intentional that it came out of North America. I think that's one of the things I read about it. Yandex, yeah, Yandex is based in, I think it's based in Russia or something. I only use it for searching images because when you click on stuff, you can open it, unlike Google. This is how Google used to be back in the day, but then I changed it, so I don't know, man. I find Google's kind of hard to use now. How come Henrik doesn't just chill out and become part of the new world? It's because Henrik is kind of like, he's kind of like, he's a character in my web series, but he represents more than just himself. He's more like, he's like a collective group of people almost in his own way. So it's not easy to just make a change and accept things. And maybe the new world is not the best choice for him, Phone box chicken, hey, thank you for that comment there. Just joined the chat. Oh, well, sorry, man, I'm about to wrap up, but who voices Henrik? His soliloquy is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. You mean Mischief, right? Because Henrik doesn't speak. But I mean, Henrik has a scene where he like breathes heavily. But that's my voice. I do Mischief's voice. Most likely media. Do you have a schedule for when you stream? No, unfortunately, I don't, because I'm not very good with schedules, and I'm kind of just sporadically. Sometimes I'm not in the mood to do things, and if I had to like schedule a stream, and I'm like, oh, I have to stream on this day, and I'm not in the right mood to do it, it's probably not going to be very good. So I'm kind of a cranky dude a lot of the time, honestly. That's the joke. Okay, I missed the joke. I'm sorry. Some of your favorite... I'm not gonna... Just Jensla Bakinski? I can't pronounce Polish words very easily. I like his art. I don't know if I really have a favorite though. Let's just go through it quickly and find something. After this though, I'm gonna call it a night. You know, as an artist, I appreciate his artwork, but I'm not like, I don't really have a favorite that he's made. You know, I don't necessarily have a favorite of a lot of artists. I like their artwork, but I don't really have a favorite. Sorry, I don't have an answer for you, man. Alright, guys, I'm calling it a night. Let's see here. Where's the chat? Okay. Drew Tice, appreciate that comment, dude. Thank you. How long is the finale? Can you give an estimate? It's probably going to be about 10 minutes. Maybe 11 minutes long. That's it. Alright, everyone. Thank you for popping in today and saying hello. Thank you for all those who have been here, and I appreciate everyone who's been sharing my videos and stuff. I appreciate that a lot too, and especially those the super chats and all the people who have been buying my merch and stuff. I really do appreciate that, because that's the kind of stuff that allows me to keep going and making stuff like this. And not only that, but also allows me to hire people like I've done this week. I've hired someone to help me with the Cinema 4D stuff, because it was taking me too long. That's it, everyone. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you again in the future. Bye.